Okay,
What up, ladies and gentlemen?
No, hold on.
It's SnowBikeMike, and I've learned something today. And that's how I want to start, Andy. I've learned something
It's going to
today.
be a show.
My best friend, Andy Cortez, finally defined asymmetrical and isometrical video games to me, which I thought were isometrical, even teams 4v4.
No.
Asymmetrical, uneven teams 4v3.
When I cleared it up for you and you said, oh, wow, so it's the opposite of the word. No. Hold on. So okay. Isometrical is a perspective.
Perspective.
And you had your mind blown.
Blown.
Yeah.
So let's. I'm just looking at the official definition of this. There's a few of them, right? So number one is of or having equal dimensions. Number two is something from psychology, whatever. And number three is in technical architectural drawing, incorporating a method of showing projection or perspective in which the three principal dimensions are represented by three axes of 120 degrees apart. So when you're looking at Diablo, when you're looking at those top down, it's not really top down, right? Top down is like 100% top down. It's at a slight perspective to you that's at 100, well, I guess 30 degrees this way, 120 degrees the other way. But that's what isometric is.
Yeah, but shouldn't it mean the amount of team members? Because asymmetrical is about the team members.
So
That would just be symmetrical.
But then symmetrical would mean equal.
The opposite word of asymmetric is symmetric.
Yes.
And isometric is spelled very differently.
Very different.
Oh,
So,
shit. Can you get a spell check on that?
Asymmetric is ASYMM, and then ISO is ISO.
Yes.
So it's like
METRI,
ISO.
like metric. Think about so one has to do with the metric.
This is Nick Scarpino, by the way, everybody.
Hey, what's
Yeah,
going on,
here's the deal. You know what I mean? You say ISO one-on-one. You know what I mean? That should be even teams.
ISO
one-on-one.
Joe. ISO Joe.
NBA ballers. Okay, come on now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy SnowBikeMike welcoming you to today's Monday, May 20th, 2024's Gamecast. Of course, that's Joey, that's Andy, and that is Nick. And we are talking about a brand new asymmetrical game coming your way in just a couple of days. Of course, these three on the panel have already played Killer Klowns, the video game, Killer Klowns from Outer Space, and we're going to be talking about that with their preview for today's Gamescast. But of course, Andy, I'll start off with you. Thank you so much for clearing that up for me. I feel like I've learned something.
Yeah, I got
so
you,
thank
homie. No problem.
Of course, Joey, welcome to the Gamescast. How are you?
Thank you. This is my second appearance in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Now I just get to be on the game shows more often, which is exciting.
Yeah, of
I have a lot
course.
of opinions.
We're happy to have you, Joe, and I'm excited to hear what you thought of Killer Klowns from Outer Space. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, Nick, you're joining the Gamescast. A lot of people thought today was the Pokemon review. No, that's later on in the week, so please tune in then. That's Thursday. You can look forward to scheduling on that. But, Nick, today we're talking about an awesome game.
We are talking about Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the game, which we all previewed Friday, I think, right? Thursday,
you
Friday
guys
of
just
last week. So
last
it's fresh
week.
in our brains right now.
And, of course, I'm wearing my green for my Celtics. Everybody knows I'm a big C's
He's
fan.
a big C's
I
fan,
love
everybody.
Boston, Beantown, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Tom Brady.
Everybody's like Tom Brady,
Yeah.
the
Tell me
Departed.
your top
the
three
best.
favorite things about Boston.
Top three things about Boston. The water.
Ray
okay?
Allen.
Oh, yeah, you know what? Give me that.
Big ticket.
Top three. KG, Paul Pierce, Rayshawn Rondo, Ray Allen. Big four, I'll give you
Big
right there.
four.
Okay, maybe that's. I don't think that counts as something you like about the city of
Everybody
Boston.
loves
but I
that.
guess we'll give
Everybody
it-
loves that. Of course, welcome to the Kind of Funny Games cast for Monday, May 20th, 2024. I'm Mike. That's Joey. That's Andy. That's Nick. And of course, this is the Kind of Funny Games cast. Each and every weekday, we gather together to talk about the biggest reviews, previews, and topics in the video game world live here on YouTube and on Twitch, and of course, on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do here at Kind of Funny, please consider supporting us with the brand new Kind of Funny membership available on YouTube and on Patreon, where you can get the very best of Kind of Funny. You'll be able to watch our shows live as we record them, get them ad-free, and of course, you'll get your daily dose of Greg Miller with the Daily Greg Way Vlog series from One Greg's Mind. It's a lot of fun. Make sure to tune into those if you're supporting over on that one. For a chance to be part of the show, of course, you can submit your thoughts, opinions, and questions for today's preview with the YouTube Super Chat function as we go. So please make sure to get those. I will be checking in on that. And some housekeeping for you. The Kind of Funny Games team is an 11-person small business that's all about live talk shows. And today, you've already gotten Blessing and Roger talking about Xbox possibly releasing a new console in 2026 on today's Kind of Funny Games Daily. That's available on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services right now. And up next, me and the Jabroni boys return to Myth Force
Oh my gosh.
for a fun isometrical game.
No, just multiplayer.
Yeah,
This was just
that's
four
just
players.
4 players hanging
co-op.
out. being
On
best friends.
YouTube and on Twitch, you can find that one's going to be a lot of fun.
How often do you think Kevin's gonna light you guys on fire this time?
I think today Kevin shows that he is the leader.
Joey, that's never what was happening, all right? I wasn't lighting anyone on fire. It's mouse and keyboards,
Yeah.
very hard to control. And sometimes I walked into a trap that
Yeah.
was random times, and I
Honestly-
would get caught on fire.
It was on
Maybe-
beat. We know Kevin has a trap problem with metronomes and like,
That's
you know,
true.
we hear his when he counts us down. 3, 2, 1. Go, you know what I mean? So it's,
He's gotten better. He has gotten better
Yeah.
because he does the thing now, the Wayne's World thing,
Yeah.
where he goes 5, 4, and the 3 and the 2 and the 1
Yeah.
are up to you, and I like that.
Up
Honestly.
to you. Yeah. You dictate what
I
that
honor him.
means.
I love it.
Yeah, that helps.
Honestly, one of my favorite streams to watch. Like, just you guys are
Myth
perfect
Force stream?
combination for
It's a
this.
good one.
yeah.
Well, the thing is this, obviously, and everyone, thank you for your support as I played over 69 hours
Yep.
of Pokemon. And we're going to keep going, obviously. We got some more to do on our Pokemon streams, but thank you for the support on that. That was all about sort of torturing Nick. This going back into Myth Force is all about seeing how long Kevin can go before he takes a keyboard, snaps it over his knee like Mark McGuire used to smash
Oh my
bats over his knees, and then just walks out of the
Snapping
room.
bats.
We're very excited about this. I want to beat Myth Force. That's what I want to do.
I like that. That's our goal, to beat Myth Force. Let's write that down. Of course, if you are a Kind of Funny member, of course, you'll get today's Greg Way, which is Greg's top 3 cherished gaming memories. Really love that. So check that out, of course, if you're supporting.
I
And
thought originally said Greg's top 3 chairs. I was like, that's a deep.
it's got to be the
cut for
MIB. It's got to be
Greg.
the Men in Black, like egg chair, right?
Do you remember,
Those are
when,
one's
you remember when
cool.
Greg was like, I'm really into pens? And I was like, stop. I don't care. I don't want to hear any more about your stupid pen obsession. And then literally I was at Cobb's Comedy Club over the weekend. They have Cobb's Comedy pens. And I was like, should I bring this for
Oh,
Greg?
wow.
And I clicked it. And then I just put it right back. Like,
Oh,
no,
wow.
I'm not feeding that
You
addiction.
don't, no. You
Love
don't
a
not
good-
happening.
Do you not love a good pen?
I love a good pen, Joe.
Have you ever sat in one of these? I've never sat in an egg chair.
They're
I can-
very
I can
uncomfortable.
confidently say I've never.
I don't.
Really?
think so.
I feel like you didn't sit in it properly, though. I look at you and you look like a man that doesn't sit in that the right way.
First off, how dare you?
$1,200?
I'm an awesome sitter. Secondly, I sat in one that was egg-shaped. It was hanging.
Oh.
And so in order to get into it, you
yeah.
had to full commit or else it would just slide out from
Yeah,
underneath
of
you and you
course.
fall on your ass.
Oh, that's.
I feel like you have to crawl and like curl up in there. Is how you have to sit. in
It's
those.
just
But it
not good
doesn't-
for your back.
But you see Will. Like, there's not enough room to curl up. You see Will Smith.
Mike, I know a place not too far away from here that sells these. So if you wanted to go sit, it doesn't have like nice velvet inside, but like I could take you to it.
Gotta be
Full
nice.
field trip.
How does
gotta be
Kevin
nice.
always know a guy?
Kevin knows a guy. He's a guy that knows a guy.
Of course, thank you to everyone out there for making our dreams a reality. Thanks to our Patreon producers, Delaney Twining, Kieran, Hovo Sapien, and Carl Jacobs. Thank you for your support. Today, we're brought to you by BetterHelp, but we'll tell you all about that later. For now, let's start with topic of the show.
Tots.
This is what happens
Wow,
when you have
team, what's up?
Nick and I on the show
Everybody.
who aren't.
You got to help him out.
You gotta help him.
Thank you.
Anybody watch this show?
No.
Topic of the show.
Tots. For a second, I got really excited. I thought you were going to bring some tater tots out of your pocket like Napoleon Dynamite.
Pocket tots.
Today, the topic of the show is Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the preview from these three and myself. We're going to be talking about the brand new IllFonic game that's releasing on June 4th to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S consoles. Here's a little quick basic rundown for you before I ask these guys what they thought. Of course, it is a 3v7 asymmetrical game.
There it is.
Of course, it's survival horror once again. The location will be Crescent Cove. It does have full crossplay with all of those consoles and PC. And cool part about it, it's after the big time movie franchise that Nick is going to surely tell me all about because I've never seen it before.
I've never seen it.
Mike,
either.
Killer
It sounds
Clowns.
like a movie watch along.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space, 1988 classic, directed by Stephen Chiodo. Scared the ever-loving piss out of me when I was 8. Yeah, I remember watching this on TV. This movie is a B movie. It's camp. It's
Okay.
about a bunch of killer clowns from outer space that come and cocoon people in cotton candy and kill a bunch of people. And the clowns are terrifying. And I was 8 years old when I had seen this, and I was like, surely I can deal with it. I had nightmares about this film for a very long time. In fact, just hearing the name that I was going to be in the preview, I think I had a dream about it. It's very, very cheesy. You can see the preview here if you guys are watching. Very cheesy. The clowns are all very not scary
I love
in the
campy
least.
horror.
It's very much in the vein of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes or The Blob or some of those other kind of really campy Roger Corman flicks of the 80s. And so the fact that they have this property and they're doing a game on it is super fun.
Okay.
Is there an asset that I'm supposed to have?
No.
No, he's just showing us an old school movie trailer for it. That's
Yeah.
what he was
Got
showing
it.
us.
So in the movie.
I can give
but-
you a trailer if you'd like to see it.
Sure, yeah, you can send it over here.
Let's jump into it. Joey, this is a game that's usually right up my alley. I love these games. 3v7, 10 total people. What was your thoughts on the preview?
It's really fun. I have no connection to the source material. I've never
Okay.
seen this movie. I don't know anything about this movie. So I feel like half of my time playing was like figuring out what these weird mechanics are, because it's like not normal that necessarily that you would like stick a human being and spin them into cotton candy. So I feel like if I had watched the movie, I would maybe like know these things about it. But yeah, it's fun. It's very standard. It's pretty similar to Friday the 13th, where you're running around the map. You're looking for the keys for the gas, for the car, there's 3 or 4, I think, probably different ways to get out at any given time. And then you're just trying to get that objective. I think having multiple killers is kind of fun. You guys played together as clowns, right?
We did. I think you have 3 clowns in the game.
Yeah.
And you can kind of, you move a little slower than some of the players, which is adds to the tension of it. But yeah, you guys can work together and do away with the players in a number of different fashions.
Yeah, I think it's having multiple killers that can work together is probably going to be really fun. I know that it's going to be chaos when we all decide to play together. Getting these two and Greg, even you, I feel like just terrorizing everybody running around, I think is going to be super fun. They have all of these like machines in the world where if you hang the cotton candy things off of them, you can like essentially like speed up the end of the game. Is that what it was? Is that what the cotton candy does?
Yeah.
I mean, it's essentially equivalent to the Dead by Daylight putting them on the hook.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
you are removing that player from the
But
sort of
even all the-
playing area.
The cotton candy things that were just rolling around on the ground, those weren't people though.
No, I think those. I don't know what they did. They powered up the machines. I'm not
Yeah.
quite sure what that mechanic did, but I do know that if you had a sharp object of some sort when you went into the cocoon, you could cut your way out, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because with Dead by Daylight, you just couldn't get off the hook unless one of your friends came to help you.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of a fun mechanic. This seems like a lot more frantic and a lot more chaotic than
Okay.
some of those
Yeah.
other
Okay.
games. So I'm interested to get this into our group and not play with the devs who kind of know what they're doing and
Yeah.
kind of fumble through it, because I think that always adds a little to the tension.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think, because we weren't really sneaking around in this. This was just sort of like organized clown chaos.
Yes.
Whereas, Friday the 13th or with the Predator game, for instance, you had those moments of like search and hunting for something. And then if you're like the Predator, obviously you're trying to hide around until you can attack. On the Friday the 13th, you got to hide. You got to sneak around and stay quiet. Whereas in this one, it was just us screaming at each other the entire time, and you're constantly seeing players running by you. So I'm wondering if stealth is going to play a little bit more of a role as we go into that as our group.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's these games are really tough to preview for me, in the same way whenever somebody's like, "Hey, come over, we're having like a board game night." I'm like, "Oh man, I'm gonna have to like I'm not gonna know the rules. It's gonna take me at least 6 go-arounds to finally understand what the rules are."
Yeah.
And these games always have a lot of complicated mechanics to them, and they have a lot of get the key to power up the boat, but you need this item over here, and I don't think that the way it was previewed to us was the best way it could have been previewed, because not only did we only get to play 2 rounds of it, but we were all just in one big Discord, so it was Joey and the other killers, or me and Nick and the other survivors, and all just kind of like cross-talking, trying not to talk over people while still trying to understand the mechanics. And I don't think the game was like showed off in the best way that it possibly could have been. I kind of wish we had, maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours with it, where we were playing multiple games and kind of understanding the mechanics of it. One thing I did really enjoy, though, whenever you die, because it happened to me several times, and whenever you die as a survivor, you can, similar to when Among Us introduced, hey, when you're dead, you can still mess with traps, and you can kind of like do things while you're a ghost or whatever. And what this does is, while you are dead, you have really cool 8-bit looking mini games that'll help you for the round or help your squad mates for the round. and it might be anything. One of them might be like a whack-a-mole style game, or one of them is like
Simon Says.
a Papa Shot game, or a Simon Says game where you're having to like repeat the pattern. And all these little games will help give you. You can either, let's say, one of the awards you win is a baseball bat or whatever, or some sort of weapon. You can hold that for yourself in case you get rezzed, or you can gift it to your current teammates right now, or whoever you're spectating, because in your spectating cam, you can gift them a little item and it'll spawn near them, and they can go get the cool item that you just got. So there's a lot of cool innovations there. I just I think I also didn't feel the tension I should have been feeling because we were all in one big group, and I think what lends a lot more to the suspense and the scary nature of it is when you just you're hearing more silence than not. And I think the best way that this game could have been played is something that the devs teased to us, which is the
Proximity chat.
Yeah, prox chat. The proximity chat being introduced, I think is going to be really funny to hear Greg's voice get louder and then quieter as he walks away.
Prox chat was made for this game for sure. Games like this. That was the metric for me too. Was like going into it. Joey sits down and she goes, "What is this game about?" And I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be fun." Because we're going to hear the patented Joey Noelle scream of, "I hate this. Why are you guys making me do this? I'm kind of having fun, but not really." And you screamed a couple times.
Yeah.
But I don't think...
the first round, I got put on with the devs as a clown.
As a clown.
Which meant that I didn't realize this later, that for the second round we were playing, you guys were both going to be clowns. And
Yes.
It's like, oh, great. I'm being
So that was super fun for me and Andy.
stalked by you two in game. I don't know if you guys ever found me.
I think I did. I think we found you once, and I think I ended up stringing you up on the cotton candy holder at least
that
one
was
time.
so
But then the
tragic.
devs freed you.
They did.
They were merciful on your soul.
And when you are a clown, you're walking around with a little sort of laser gun that slows down the enemy when they're running from you.
Okay.
And if you group up, and that speeds the sort of cotton candy thing up, and it puts them in that cotton candy bulb a lot faster. When you are a human, you can stop that sort of process really quickly by, depending on what weapon you have, whether it's a melee thing, you could just straight up find like a handgun or a shotgun or something like that in the game. But when you're an alien or when you're a killer clown, not only do you have that little ray gun, but you also have sort of like little passive abilities. You have an ability where you can like jump across the map.
The traversal's cool.
You hit the button and it shows you the overall map, and you sort of see like where the activity's at, and you can kind of teleport there. You also have one of the abilities we had was like a lure. When you see somebody, you put them in like a trance-like state, and they start kind of like walking towards you and making it easier for you to do that thing. I would have liked to have seen what more. I think whenever we preview a lot of games, we get like, hey, here's how the game looks at the start. Here's what it might look like 20, 40 hours from now, whenever you have a lot more things unlocked.
Of course.
I would have liked to have seen what more of those abilities might have been. I just don't think I had enough time with it to really say that I'm super looking forward to it. Because by the end of it, I was like, I had just gotten the gist of what the game is and what the, what the objectives were. So yeah, I think once we are able to have it in the office, I'll have a lot more fun with it then.
Okay.
These games, I think, are also hard in the sense that, like, I think you connect more obviously to the IP that you care about more. For me, I was really liked Friday the 13th because that's more my style of horror. Nick, I know, was way more into Predator.
Loved Predator.
I think Killer Klowns is like a way smaller fan base than either of those, so I'll be interested to see in how that does
Markedly
long-term.
smaller for sure.
Yeah. But I think playing with more people will be fun. I don't know if that's going to be an issue for like partying up and what matchmaking and stuff is going to look like.
Yeah, that's going to be, I think, an uphill battle for him. I mean, obviously, Killer Klowns from Outer Space is not really an IP that anyone really knows other than me and probably other 40-year-olds out there. But it's just bonkers of a title enough that I think it'll catch people's attention on Steam.
Yeah.
But I do worry about the dynamics of the game, right? So for me, the reason I liked Predator, because it was that 4v1, but it was weighted well enough so that you felt like, as a human, if you were separated from the group, you were screwed. And even if there's only two of you, you were screwed. The Predator, when Mike was Predator, I'll never forget. He just clowned us out and just murdered all of us. And that was a great feeling and super fun. And that lent itself really well to the replayability of that. I wanted to keep coming back. I wanted to get better. As the Predator, I wanted to get, learn those skill sets and try to be the guy that could, kill Greg Miller, let's be honest. With Friday the 13th, I think
cool.
it's all about that balance of, Jason's super OP, so if he gets a hold of you, you're kind of screwed. This one feels a lot more frantic because there's a lot more clowns and a lot more people. And so I wonder, I'm interested to see what that dynamic is going to be as we go into it together. Is it going to be the same level of tension as sneaking around the camp Crystal Lake or whatever it was in Friday the 13th? Or is it just going to feel like we're all screaming at each other and laughing and having a good time, and then we just maybe don't want to pick it up after that?
Yeah, that's what I'm most interested about is like, I liked Friday the 13th because there was so many people on the map, right? You bring up Predator, that 4v1 vibe of like, clearly that's a squad versus the one Predator. I'm interested in 10 people on the game. That's a lot of fun and cool to me of like, I love sharing these game nights with all of you, and the more people, the merrier is what I always think. And so, yeah, when you talk about this amusement park map is what I assume you guys checked out.
Yeah.
They have shown off 2 so far, but what was that like with 7 humans and 3 clowns to make 10? Was it always people running into each other? Because it felt like in Friday the 13th, you didn't see that many people all the time, right? Like that map was pretty big where you felt spread out. And when you did run into each other, it was like, oh man, I can't believe I'm seeing Joey right now. This is crazy. Did you feel like you were crossing paths all the time?
Yeah. I mean, you feel like you're clashing together. It felt very small. The more people you put in the map like that, it feels
definitely
really small.
smaller than Friday the 13th.
Way smaller.
Map-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what sort of took away from a lot of the suspense for me is when you were 5v1 or 4v1, whatever it was in Friday the 13th, there being one Jason felt always kind of scary. And in this sort of play session that we had, it probably doesn't help that I had 2 other people that didn't really know what they were doing either. In Joey and Nick, and that when I would be walking out there, I would sometimes just see a clown and like I wouldn't feel fazed by it. I'm just like,
right.
Oh, there's a clown over there. He's doing his thing. I'm the human. Let me just kind of like,
okay.
So like I didn't necessarily feel the tension there, and maybe the music and the score might lend a lot to that. And it's what I think what'll also add a lot more tension is that like while we are trying to learn the game, the devs are obviously trying to teach us exactly what the game mechanics are. So that took away a lot of the scare factor because I'm more scared of me not knowing the rules. You know what I mean? I'm like, I gotta find this item. So what's that one thing I'm looking for? And you're sort of more focused in on
Where's
that.
the pathway and the thing?
Yeah.
I got the key.
Yeah, I think that me and Greg had a very similar experience with Helldivers too when we previewed it, and we were more being told where to go and kind of. I would have rather just like learned over time after a while because we kept on being told to go to this parking lot. I was like, I don't know where the parking lot is, man. Like I don't really know where. I'm sure I saw it at one point in this map, but I don't know what way is up from down. I have no like I have no vibe right now based on like
north.
I don't know where these areas are essentially.
Yeah.
So that kind of took away from the experience for me.
And you'll learn and grow with that. I like hearing your guys' initial thoughts on this preview and, of course, of the game. But I want to dive a little bit deeper right after a word from our sponsors.
This episode's brought to you by BetterHelp. We all carry around different stressors, big and small. I'm currently planning a wedding, so I know all about that. But when we keep them bottled up, it can start to affect us negatively. Therapy helps you find your strengths so you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. You can get out of your negative thought cycles and find some mental and emotional peace, and it can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. Some of my best friends use BetterHelp and love how helpful it can be for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself, and it isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit betterhelp.com/kindafunny today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/kindafunny.
Roger got me good on that one. I have to call him out just because he went 10, 9, 8, and then stopped, and I was like, shit, am I supposed to count down from 8? That's a big vibe to catch.
I started doing the 10, 9, 8, and I was like, ooh, this is a long time to be counting here. And then, like, I don't know when to start.
He was like, okay, guys, 1 minute, 59, 58, 57.
You got the rest.
Of course, welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm excited. I want to dive a little bit deeper into that because we've had some questions from the chat. Don't forget, you can get involved if you have questions, you got comments, comments you want to write in about what you are excited for with Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the video game, let me know in the YouTube Super Chat function. But I want to dive a little bit deeper because we've talked about your initial impressions. I want to break down both sides, and then I want to know, how do I win? How do I lose? And then I have some other questions and possibly even a top 5 coming up in just a little bit.
Wow.
But Joey and Andy, I'll start with you guys. Let's break it down. Let's start with the clowns, right? What was it like playing as those 3 clowns? Did you have different abilities per clown? What was it like to, cotton candy ball someone up? And then where do I go with this cotton candy ball? Or are they instantly dead?
Yeah, so when you get cotton candy balled, as Andy was saying, you have like your little cotton candy gun, ray gun kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like
a
a
little ray gun, like a blaster that you have
Yeah.
that sort of slows them down, but then spools them up as they go. You can also use it to like re-spool exits and stuff like that. So you can go if people clear off the exits. Kind of think of it as like a fun edible cobweb.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, if you catch somebody in it, they have these like machines. We saw a little bit in the trailer that have like 4 hooks on them, and you toss them on there. If you fill one, it does something, which I can't remember currently.
Yeah, I can't remember, unfortunately. But it's cool when
I
it
think
happens.
if you do all of them, it like speeds up
it
the
starts
end
the
game
clown
essentially.
apocalypse.
Thank
Oh, that's
you.
what it is.
That's
That's
the
right.
word.
And it's a nuclear bomb
like this.
of pink,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is cool.
And so is that like the end game? Like, of course, in Call of Duty, dropping a nuke to win the game. Does it end it all if you start the clown apocalypse?
I think that's how the clowns win, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it starts speeding up the process. Now, when you are a camper, or not a camper, when you are just one of the humans, you can peace out on your own in just like you could in other games.
Of course.
I love that here that, hey, I'm just going to leave my squad behind. I can
Yeah.
already see
The
so
boat.
many situations like that happening here. It's kind of funny when we play this.
There definitely was a moment where Andy, I think, had gotten the gas for the boat and also the spark plug for the boat and also the key for the boat. And then I just got on the boat and took off.
Nice.
I
There you
I
go.
was left behind. Yeah.
Okay,
And I
okay.
definitely think that's where Prox Chat would be hilarious as Andy screams at me that I can go F myself.
Volume just
As
kind
I'm
of
just like, just jet skiing away.
I
Yeah.
found it really cool of like, I was looking over the website. You have 5 unique clowns, which maybe, Nick, you know these clowns from the movies, but you have Jumbo, Spiky, Chubby, Rudy, and Shorty, which I can't wait to see them all. I know each one is kind of unique and different. And then, of course, the humans are all based on horror staples. Instead
Oh,
of
interesting.
having actual special names and the person, they're based on bikers, cops, punks, rednecks, and teens, which I thought was really cool and a little bit different for the genre. Instead of having, Tom, Dick, and Sally, they all
Yeah.
have their own names, which
Sure.
is cool.
I loved that the game ran really great.
Oh, really?
I was
Okay.
I guess with a lot of games like this, I'm always kind of expecting a bunch of freezes and hiccups and unoptimized jank, and the game ran super smooth and had no issues with that whatsoever.
Nice. That's good to
Yeah.
hear, especially with that June 4th release. It's nice to hear that you felt like it's looking good and feeling good.
Looked really good. I think the visuals were like of what it is, really impressive, right? Like they're
Okay.
not going for the most next gen sort of realism with the visuals, but it still looked really damn good and it ran really great. And I love the UI. Everything in the UI has this sort of VHS rental store vibe
Sick.
to it.
Okay.
Really sort of cool aesthetic there. And yeah, I keep on harping on it, but I just wish we had more time. Nick was mentioning earlier during our break that he was like, all right, let me start to do some notes. It's like, oh, that was it.
Yeah. Of
course.
The game is over. So unfortunately, we only had 2 of the matches. That looks like the clown apocalypse right there is happening right there on screen.
That's sick.
That's what that
so
was right there.
On the human side, a big one about this, you guys bring up grabbing different items and starting to piece together where you're going to go with those items. Exploration and looting and scavenging. What's that like on a map like this? We kind of talked about controlled chaos, Nick, as you brought up with the first time playing in 10 people, but what was it like looting? Did you feel like, hey, I can clearly know where I need to loot? Or is it kind of a guessing game? There's a lot of things going on this screen. Is it easy to identify what you need to be finding?
Well, all of that stuff is procedural, right? They mentioned that that's all just randomized. So, like when you're walking around, you might see a little ice chest that you can loot, and you might find a gun, or you might find the item that you're looking for, or you might find nothing in a lot of cases. As long as you're doing so crouched and being silent and walking around, because
Is there a noise meter?
yeah, very similar
Okay.
to the Friday the 13th games. When you were Jason, you would see the little white waves of movement sound
okay.
popping around the map, so you'd kind of get a hint of where people were at. So you want to make sure that you're crouched and walking around as much as possible, as opposed to just sprinting and making a lot of ruckus.
Yeah.
Shrek writes in with the $2 super chat and says, "We need an asymmetric Gremlins game next." Nick,
Gremlins would be so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would actually be incredible. I don't know how you do that with the I guess you could have like 10 players versus a couple human players. That
Okay.
would be a blast. I mean, really, any of these. That's the fun of these old school properties is seeing how they bring them to life and what the creativity is that goes into them and how those dynamics work for sure. Gremlins would work like crazy.
Yeah. For me, I'm excited because I like seeing how these teams build off of their last previous title. And you have a team like IllFonic who's been making these kind of games, right? They are in this genre, they are sticking to it, and they are building off of each and every one. And I think we've seen that progression from Friday the 13th into Predator Hunting Grounds, Ghostbusters. Like, there are things that they've brought with them, things that they've dropped, things that they've improved upon. And so for me, I'm excited for the next title of like, how do you increase, elevate the noise detector? How do you make it fun on the killer side? Because we've known before, if you're a bad predator, you're going to just get absolutely lost in the
There
dust,
was
right?
a lot of moments I'll never forget. The moment where I saw you guys and I got scared because I was lost in the woods as the
He
predator.
was the predator.
And I was like, oh God. And he just starts laughing at me. 'cause
He's
he's
like, oh shit! Oh fuck! He didn't know how to fly away.
I didn't know how to get out of there.
I think there's just like there's something about this game that worries me because of the IP, like Joey was mentioning earlier. But it's also the fact that like if I see a large murderer with a chainsaw, I think that's more universally scary than the fact that like not everybody has this clown fear that a lot of people do seem to have. But
Of course.
Well,
like,
rational people do.
oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
smart
like,
people do.
I don't freak out when I see these clowns out
Okay.
in running around the map trying to like figure out the game or whatever. And I think it plays as more silly and more fun and more camp, like we were mentioning, how the movie's tones were essentially.
Okay.
But I don't know. I want to feel that fear, and I just wasn't necessarily feeling that from this play session that we had.
You bring up Friday the 13th with Jason, and when he would come near you, the music would start
Yeah.
to play, right? Did you have any music with the clowns? Was there an overarching music of like the carnival setting that you were on? What was there any touchstones to somebody's getting close to you?
It was hard to gauge because there was just a lot of
Yeah.
chaos.
Again,
around.
this
There
is
was
gonna
so
be
much
one of those-
talking.
Yeah.
You brought up the idea of like the mechanics, the foraging for items and things like that. And I think so. Right off the rep, I'm like, okay, I find this bunker. I got to get a gas for the door, and then I got to go find the key card. And I just never found the key card because it was just always chaos that you were running into. So I think it is one of those that we got to get our hands on this thing. We got to stumble through the first few matches together, learn together, instead of having, obviously when you've got the devs there with you who are telling the clowns how to win, it's you don't get that level of suspense as to like, I'm actually experiencing this for the first time, trying to find the stupid key card so I can get in this bunker so that when the clown apocalypse happens, I'm safe.
Also, 3v7 it seems wild. It's such an odd number.
Yeah, of course.
To see in a game like this, and I got to assume, I didn't ask, but I got to assume that there will eventually be a 2v6 mode, and like, because 3v7 seems insane to try to. It's such a wild number to try to like
Get 10
balance.
people in here.
Let's let's try to
Oh,
like
you mean
find this
actually
consistency.
find that many people? Yeah.
Yeah, like it seems like there's just gonna be a lot happening on the map. I think of like our time with I'm blanking out. Oh my god, Evil Dead.
Evil Dead.
And that was a similar sort of asymmetric game where it felt really structured because you were going to different points on the map, similar to like what you were doing in the Friday the 13th game. Big save, Joe.
Huge save, Joe.
Almost just dropped her coffee all over the fucking
That was about to make the
table.
studio smell rancid for like 3 weeks.
But yeah, with the Evil Dead game, I found myself feeling a lot more, having the game be a lot more gamified and structured, and understanding what the objectives were. And this one, if we had more time, I may have felt a little bit, more.
Yeah, and
comfortable.
that one felt like it was moving you from point A to point B, right? Like that was 4v1, and it was go complete this task, and then sure, it might branch off and give you two options, but
Right.
you knew where you had to go, right? As opposed to a game like this where it's, hey, run around the map, and there's 3 different ways to get out of here. Good luck figuring
Difficulty's
it out.
harder now because the enemies now have this, and
Yes,
then
of
now we've
course.
progressed to the top level, but you've leveled up so far, and that felt a bit more natural in terms of like progression. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited to play with all of you. I want to just get my hands on it again.
Okay. And how about the map? So as we start to ramp things down, let's talk about the map really quick. Of course, you saw the amusement park. I said they teased another one, so it looks like they got 2 maps. Was it well detailed? Could you figure out where you were? Was it, you brought up chaos, but like, were there some touchstones of, hey, I see this circus tent, I know I'm on the northern side, or hey, I'm down here by the water, I know I'm over on this side where the boat might be?
I'd say it took about 1 game to figure out the geometry of it and kind of lock
Okay.
that in. And it's what I will say is it's very fun. It's designed to be sort of a little bit more vertical, which is cool because you can go underneath the pier, which
cool.
is kind of cool. I always, for whatever reason, knew where the boat was. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think there
I mean,
was
the
just
boat's the easy one.
I just think there was a moment I was like, head
By
toward
the
the
water.
beach and screw Andy over.
Yeah.
Were my 2 priorities in this game. But it is a very small map. And,
Okay.
I mean, dropping into Friday the 13th, I do remember being like, I'm lost, and it's going to take me a long time to figure out where I need to play this 5-6 more times before I figure out the geometry of what the specific map
Was
is.
there a map button similar to Friday the 13th where you could pull up a giant map? Was there a map
Not
button?
that I noticed, but the clowns do have the ability to, like, you hit your special and
Yeah.
it'll zoom out, and then you can put a point on the map where you can just jet to.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
seeing that, you're like, okay, I can see that this is pretty much a square that we're dealing with here, with a couple different land markers. One being the gate, one being the boat, one being the pier. So
Yeah, it is procedurally generated, so those things do move around
Oh,
a
cool.
little bit. Like
I didn't realize
the escape tunnel that I went through in the first game when I got out was like in a wildly different place than it was the second game. And
That's
stuff
cool.
Like that, so things do move around. It's not like a static map by any means.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, I think that's a must-have. It's like as much as I would want to always know this escape tunnel's here in the center, right?
Yeah.
I think you got to move that because then once I become the killer clown, I'm gonna just camp that all the time.
Yeah.
And hold on. Did you ever feel like, hey, these guys are getting one over on me? I'm disadvantaged being a human. Like when we played Predator, and sometimes I'd bully you.
No,
Did you feel
I
like
don't-
that?
I don't think we got enough playtime with
Yeah.
it to
Okay.
do that, to do those dynamics. I mean, whenever you're playing against the devs, you're going to get clowned out, no pun intended. So I think in this one, it just kind of felt like we were just getting the tip of the gameplay, which to Andy's point ran really well, especially for a preview, and just sort of some of the core mechanics before we were done. So we'll have to get back in there together and figure out that dynamic because if you were a good Predator, it was not even close.
Yeah. We
But
played
there-
a couple of good ones back.
we
in the
had a
day.
lot of real good
Couple of
ones where it
crazy
was like,
ones.
can we
Yeah.
down the Predator, or is he going to just destroy us? That was always fun.
And this one's different than Predator 2 of like, as humans, you're not really doing an objective other than trying to get out versus all the other stuff you had
Yeah,
to do
that
in
was
Predator.
that was one of the interesting things. I was trying to remember Evil Dead, and like I think you had to do like mini games in that,
You
right?
had to like
You had
fill
to-
the blood bucket.
yeah, that's right. And those were always the ones where you like that was the one where it was you'd always get stuck underneath the thing, right? Or am I thinking Dead by Daylight? I'm conflating Dead by Daylight and Evil Dead together, but I'm trying to remember which one had the better mechanics. I think
Dead by Daylight is always the generators, which
Right.
you remember, and then I think you're thinking of Evil Dead because that took you around the map and you had to go hold a place for 2 minutes while I would
Right.
come and catch up to you,
While the
or
NPC
go do this.
enemies would
Yeah,
pop up.
Right. And that's I think with Predator that ended up being sort of a little bit more of a transparent mechanic as you got into the game, where you're kind of giving the player some busy work to do to add to the tension of this.
Yeah.
But it does help. It is interesting to have those sort of smaller things to do. So
Yeah, you have the very similar sort of Dead by Daylight timing mini games.
Okay, yeah.
Whenever you start the generator, you have
Yeah.
if you perfectly
You're
hit
filling
it,
the
that's going to
gas.
fill that bar
Yeah.
even
Oh, I
more.
like
But if you hit it kind of in the decent spot, then it's going to do a little bit of progress.
Okay.
So that does add to it.
I
Now,
got killed real hard on a quick time event for the stupid gate lock. I was like, well, now I'm dead.
Now, while you're in those moments, are you feeling the music kind of ramp up. That's all stuff that I just couldn't really get a grasp of with those two games that we played.
Did you notice any other mini games you bring up? We'll call it scavenging and having that timer probably and hitting that quick time event. Was there anything else at all? Because now we've seen Helldivers who did a really good job of like the DDR, the Dance Dance Revolution of like left, up, right, hit the combo code, get in there. Anything used like that?
Well, yeah, all the mini games I would say with the stuff I was really impressed by is when you're dead, helping out your squad, helping out yourself. If in case you
or
get
choosing
res.
to screw your squad over and just keeping the stuff for yourself. So when you res, you have it when you come back.
Oh, smart.
Which is
That's
interesting.
smart.
So it's like, do you want your friends to win or do you want to screw them over and you try to win? Which is kind of cool.
And a lot of that I think comes down to communication of, all right, well, you already have that gear. You're resing me. I'll keep this gun for myself or whatever, so that we have a chance against these dudes. And I think whenever you die, it does the Among Us thing of like, hey, everybody who's dead is now in this sort of voice channel. I think I remember seeing like something about all the people that are dead can talk to each other right now.
Okay.
If you weren't using Discord or something like that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that's one I think kind of the game should have, of course, proxy chat. I think that's what makes it fun. The moment you go into a Discord, it's now we're strategizing. We're clearly going to come up with a plan to beat you. But there is that kind of fun element of I'm alone. I'm scared. Oh, man, Joey's now run next to me. I'm talking with her. Oh, snap, I'm all by myself now talking. Like, I like that a lot. I'm looking forward to that. I hope game codes, lobby codes, right? I think when we talk about multiplayer games, and you know me of like, I want the easiest way to invite people, right? I want to be able to start a lobby. Hey, here's the code. I can send out to my friends or put out into a Twitch chat. Instantly people can join. Like that is a big must for me. I love that they have crossplay. I know they'll have a roadmap, but you know, the small things really go a long distance on this, especially like you brought up, Andy, asking 10 people to play. I'm going to need some easy ways to invite and hopefully be able to open it up, right? And like have people be able to join. If I don't have 10 friends, what's that going to look like will be interesting.
Is there crossplay? Do we know?
Yes.
Crossplay, yes. Full crossplay between the three. This is PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. So remember that for all of you. This is coming out June 4th. Killer Klowns from Outer Space, brought to you by IllFonic. This has been the preview with Joey, Andy, Nick, and myself. But before we go, I thought I'd give you a top 5 of asymmetrical games that I enjoy and I love.
And I'm doing top 5 isometrical games.
Oh, snap! That's great, Andy. Let's go back and forth then, you and I.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about SnowBikeMike's top 5 asymmetrical games and Andy Cortez's
top 5 isometrical games.
OLI's, Joey Noel.
Outside looking in, Joe.
Outside looking in, Joe. Nick?
Oh,
Can I do my top 5 perspectives and drawing?
Of course.
That sounds
Yes,
great.
Nick, please get your top 5s. Let's talk about the outside looking in for my top 5.
Is this a sports thing?
And I'm going to give you a couple. Okay.
It's a Levitard thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Outside looking in. Want to give a shout out to Evolve. Back in the day, Turtle Bay, I believe, was the company.
100%.
Best fucking logo of all time.
What a killer logo. Okay. But like, let's shout out Evolve.
I don't know if Turtle Bay is.
I have a.
I think it is. I think it because I always thought they were like I always confused it with
Turtle
Turtle
Rock.
Beach. Turtle Rock is what it is. Turtle Bay sounds good.
Turtle Bay logo looks like it's a Hilton and like Turks and Caicos.
But I want to shout out Evolve. Evolve came out in that Xbox One generation, and it was the 4v1 big monster hunting you all down, while the 4 hunters had all unique and special abilities that they would level up after killing, you know, it was PvPvE, so they had the opportunity to hunt the monster, but also kill other smaller monsters to level up, and at the same time, the monster would grow by eating those smaller monsters, getting those level ups, and chasing you around. This is a game that probably deserved more love than it got,
fun.
but it was one of those early asymmetrical games on console that I don't think people were quite ready for. It might not have had crossplay, might have been a big issue as well with this one, but this is when I remember thinking, you know what? You got a good game here. I wish it got more love.
Can we get the logo up at one point?
Yeah.
Or Nick,
Logo.
just look up the Evolve
Also-
logo. Evolve
Evolve
game
logo.
logo.
Shout out.
Incredible.
The last time I went to Comic-Con, I went because I had friends that were working on Evolve and they got us in when we played, but they had a giant statue of one of the monsters and it was so cool.
So the V is the only one not colored in because that's the monster. So it's 1V5.
You like
Oh,
that?
that is cool.
Is that cool or what? Come on.
V-
And the V is the
V1.
one
Wait,
monster.
is this the logo you're talking
Could we
about?
also get
Yeah.
the Turtle Rock
So cool.
logo?
What do you get it? Nick just googled the meat eater look.
Yeah, I like that.
Because you see it says meat both ways and eater both ways.
yeah.
And
One
it's
more I
really
want to shout
clever.
out.
Still that posted on your desk?
Yeah, I still do. Yeah.
Depth. This is a shark versus scuba diver game available
such a
on
Mike-ass
Steam. Not
game.
many people have played this
I've
one.
never heard of this.
I love finding these weird games. Like the one game where it lets you be dinosaurs and you level up the dinosaurs. And like you always see it on TikTok. The one guy's an alligator and he's
you?
waiting in the water until the little brontosaurus comes up to drink water and then he goes,
I've never seen this
Our
in my life.
FYPs are so different.
Woo! So Depth for me was a cool game because it was the sharks versus the scuba divers, and everybody loves Scuba Steve. He would go down to the depths. You'd be swimming around these crazy, like, coral reefs or like a down Titanic ship, and then the sharks would come out of nowhere, try to eat you. Awesome idea.
Interesting.
Awesome. Make Deep Blue Sea the video game. Let's do that right away.
We
Is that
played
not
this for a
just
hot
kind of
second. This
this?
was fun, yeah.
Yeah, this is what it
What
looked like.
year did this come out? Is
I feel
this
like we
recent?
played this. Didn't we play this?
I don't know if
You're
we
probably
played
thinking
this
of
or not.
Maneater.
Yeah,
That might
Maneater
be.
was sick.
That was on Mike's top 10.
Andy Cortez, give me your OLIs for your top 5 isometric games.
I have no OLIs.
No OLIs. Okay.
Yeah,
I like
no
that. You're
OLIs.
going straight to top 5. Nick Scarpino, do you have any OLIs for perspectives?
I don't know what that means.
Okay. That's
outside
great.
looking in. It's like number 6 would be an outside looking in.
Oh, sure. I'll give you the pan view as an outside looking in. Yeah, that's kind of cool. It's cool. We all know it.
Do we?
It's a top-down view,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's a little difficult to see.
We've all heard of it,
As
yeah.
opposed to
Okay.
my number 5, which is the top-down oblique view,
Yeah.
which is super cool.
Okay. Do you want what's oblique view mean? Just
Yeah.
a normal top down?
It's if you were to take a drawing.
It's a cool word. So I'm like,
If
what
you
is
were to-
that?
if you were to
Isn't
take
it
a
also
drawing
muscle?
and just like splay it out so you could see all aspects of it, but top down. Sort of like imagine, and I'm
Like
totally
flattening
getting
a
this wrong. I'm
globe?
totally spitballing right now. But imagine if you were like, if you had a cutout that you were then going to form into a 3D model, but the cutout, like if you know those sheets that you get,
So it's flattening a globe.
basically flattening a globe.
Oh,
Yeah, that would be like
okay.
a top-down oblique view. I love that.
Thanks, Joey, for that
Yeah.
explanation. I got that. Andy Cortez, give me your number 5.
Tunic.
Tunic, top down.
Cool game.
Cool game.
Isometric.
Because it was top down. Kind of top down, right?
Because it's isometric.
Side down.
Well, it's isometric, but like isometric for people who might not know the word, you know what I mean? Kind of top down view.
But like that's and the
I
show.
mean,
and
you know
the
what?
goddamn show.
With Mike, I'm going to give this one to you, Mike. It's
Thank
a
you.
kind of top-down.
Kind of top down, Andy. That's all you have to
It's
say.
kind of top-down.
But yeah, that's what.
Number 5, Snowbike Mike's top 5 asymmetrical games. Evil Dead. Andy Cortez
Fun
was
one.
top 5 NA in Evil Dead. This one was cool because it had the characters from the Evil
We
Dead
had a lot of good times playing
franchise.
Evil
They all had different unique abilities. Andy usually was that girl with the sniper rifle, right? I believe.
Well, yeah, she was like the sharpshooter
Yes,
of the
the
group.
sharpshooter
I
of
was
the group.
top 5 NA.
We had
remember
the
that.
medic that would put down the AoE healing that I really enjoyed.
That was fun.
I did like the monsters. I really liked the giant map. The maps felt big and there was
And they
caves.
There was like a verticality.
A lot
to
of
them.
verticality.
It was so balanced.
Yeah.
It felt like
Very well balanced.
it felt like you'd be near the end of the game and the person you're playing against is like on the ropes and they are like pulling out all the stops and you're doing your best because you've leveled up this pistol all the way by the end of this long session or whatever, because the session only goes as long as you survive, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
man, I had a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
I remember
I
that
liked-
was one where we'd be in the final circle, right? And you'd have to just sit there and guard
Yes,
it.
the
Yeah.
the
as it was-
finale.
as you were just getting hordes and hordes, and then
And
I'd go
could
down.
call in bad guys. I could
Yeah.
become the bad guy. I would go into ghost mode and like whisper around you.
Yeah.
I loved chasing you guys around the map and like being able to see where you were, like right behind you, and then be like, all right, I'm going to try to beat them to the spot now and prepare for all that with different traps and stuff. Good video game. Top 5. Nick Scarpino, give me your number 4.
Number 4
Points of views.
perspectives. I'm gonna go with Cavalier.
Oh wow.
Another
One of my
oblique
favorites.
perspective. Very similar to an isometric, but different angles. These are all about angles, Joe.
All about
Okay.
angles.
All about angles.
Number 4 for me on the isometric game list. Diablo 4.
Pretty good.
Goat.
Snorefest. Snorefest.
Why don't you
Diablo
like
4.
Diablo
The new
Four.
season's pretty good.
It's
Diablo
just a,
Snore.
God damn it.
it's just a game that's busy work.
Yeah.
You're just doing grindy busy work. And if I'm gonna do grindy busy work, I'm gonna do that
I'm gonna do gardening.
on the
No, he's
fucking
gonna do
plains
Call
of
of
Rebirth
Duty.
Island, my friend.
Diamond Boys, Andy. Remember that?
Diamond
You see,
Dogs.
They got a Gundam skin coming. You can play with us
I
now.
didn't know that,
They got
yeah.
a sick Gundam
Yeah,
skin.
the lack of a Gundam skin is why Andy's not playing
Yeah,
with
that's
you
why he's not
anymore.
playing. And they're bringing back the car. Don't know if you heard, but there's whispers. The
No.
car's coming.
No.
Yeah, it's time for you to come
You
back,
got him
bro. I'm just
back.
letting you know.
No.
It's time
They're
for
bringing
you
the
to-
car back?
They're bringing the car back. It's time for you to come back.
This is the most excited I've seen Andy about COD.
Gundam
in
and the
years.
car?
Andy,
Are you kidding
Andy's
me right
not
now?
like.
This is it.
Do you know,
This
Joey,
is
when
it,
you start
bro.
talking about a peak sports player, like
Yeah.
like peak Tom Brady, you look back and sometimes they play a
Kelce.
little too long. And you go, he should have retired 2-3 years earlier. Andy's
Aaron
peak
Rodgers?
performance was standing on top of hospital
On
in the middle
top.
of Verdansk, clicking heads
Yeah.
with the car.
I mean, I
On
watched
top of a car?
No,
the
the
car,
car's a rifle.
KAR.
KAR,
Oh,
yeah.
The car
less
98.
exciting.
Yeah,
Car
well,
98.
it's violent.
the Falcon car. Oh man.
He was soaring, Joey. It was a
Soaring,
beautiful
yeah.
thing.
Click.
Number 4 for me on the asymmetrical games. Friday the 13th. I liked Friday the 13th a lot. I didn't love Friday the 13th. I think maybe it's because I got into it late.
This is number 4?
number 4 for me.
What
number
the
4.
fuck?
Wait until you
Really?
see it. Yeah, I got a great top 3.
I'm confused
number
as to where
4,
you're listed.
I
I'll be
know.
honest
Number 4
with you.
for me.
I thought you had 3 number 4s already.
Love the big map. I love the dumb emotes that you see on TikTok with the guy in the Speedo dancing on Jason as
guy
they
with the
shotgun him in the
sweater.
face and go
Yeah.
crazy, right? Like, I love the dumb faces that they would make, that the people would take like screenshots of like the face would be all warped and distorted. This was a fun game. It was a gigantic map, and sometimes maybe that's why I felt like it was too big and I was always lost. But it was cool to finally get in the car when Kevin A6 was like, it's time to go, and we'd all get in the car and drive away. I liked that. But
That's the one I felt the most tension in.
For
interesting.
sure.
Oh, really?
The music is so good.
I think because of the music, I think because of the hulking stature of Jason walking into a room,
Yeah.
watching him kill one of your friends, and
Oh,
then just
stabbing through the
screaming,
bed.
You'd be like,
Yeah.
I gotta go, bro. I gotta go.
You
Yeah,
come back as Tommy. It's so cool.
yeah.
What a great time. Nick Scarpino, give me your number 3.
Number 3, perspectives. I'm going to go with trimetric because it's got 3 in it.
Yeah, number 3.
That's where you
Perfect.
shoot through a triangle.
Sure.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Andy Cortez, give me your number 3.
Death's Door. Did I already say that?
No.
Is that the Crow one?
Yeah,
That's
the
a good
girl.
game. That's a good game
right there, Mikey.
Holy cannoli, that's a good
Death's
game.
Door was
By
great.
Acid Nerve, I believe. We interviewed them over on the Kind of Funny Xcast. Sick game. Paris Lily loves that game. Check
Mm-hmm.
it out. Number 3 for me. One of my goats. One of my favorites of all time.
Dead by Daylight?
Predator Hunting Grounds.
Oh,
it's
I
3?
love Predator Hunting Grounds. I loved being part of the squad of 4, going from objective to objective. I love customizing our guns. Now that I've seen Predator the movie, I can put a whole lot of
So
respect
sick,
on that
right?
game's name. It was a blast.
Put that game out again. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
it's
Real
already
talk,
out, but like
like,
put it out again. you
Real
know?
talk, there is a Predator 2. If they just did that game, but like in a city setting, that would be so fun.
Great maps, a lot of fun to move and traverse through the maps, being able to look up and see that predator rustling in the bushes up on the trees, and then on the flip side, being the predator, having the ultimate power set of being able to drop down on Nick, Joey, and Andy and swipe at him with the blades, shoot him with the net, be able to shoot him with the laser gun. It was
God.
so
I'm
sick.
shocked this is your number 3 because you were so good at it.
We got stuck. Remember the first time Mike played with us, and we got stuck in one of those little like power plant areas, and I'm hearing everyone scream. Mike's laughing, and I'm just trying to crawl underneath the thing to hide from him.
Underneath
God,
the
that was
trades.
a good moment.
Nick, give me your number 2.
Number
Top
2.
perspectives.
You've heard it a lot today. Number 2 is going to be the isometric perspective.
Oh wow.
It's top down.
Top
You-
down.
Kinda top
Kind
down.
of. Kind of
Not
top
even
down.
close. Not even close.
We'll have to take a look. Andy Cortez, give me your number 2. Isometric video games.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Ooh, great pull.
Good video game. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Made them a lot of money. Hope it makes it more. They open up a new studio. You see that?
New studio.
Larry.
Pretty interesting that they were like, you know what? We're not going back. We're moving on.
I imagine
Well, I
the
mean, it belongs
rights.
to. It doesn't belong to
But
an
they-
IP.
Well, of course, they were going to give them the rights back and be like, please, God, make another great video
Yeah, but they
game like
probably
you
wanted
did.
a lot of money for
But they were
those
like, hey,
rights.
guess
And
what?
they were like, what if
We're
we did
out.
our own thing without that?
See
issue?
ya. Number 2. Here's a hot one for you. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This game fucking
Never played it.
rocked. Andy never played it, and I'm tempted to say, Andy, let's play it. You know what I mean? Because man, oh man, this 4v3, Joe, you would love this one because I really like how they brought it out like moment to moment of you start out in the basement with just Leatherface.
Real
and
quick. Let me stop you real quick.
Tell me.
Can somebody bring up the video, whether Roger or Kevin are in the control room? Because
It's me again.
I've never seen this game.
Oh my God! Can you please, Andy Cortez? You would
play
love this game.
Did we play this game?
We might have played this game.
Hey,
Yeah, I
real,
think
real
we did.
quick, the computer is like really freezing anytime I
This
pull up.
computer
bring
might
it.
blow up at any time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I,
Computer's not
I'll,
going
to.
I'll
do that.
try my best.
So let's. So very cool.
Okay, so yeah, we did play this. This was a fun one.
Yeah, this
See,
is
I get
very
this one
cool.
confused with Dead by Daylight.
Yes, very similar.
Very,
Very
very
This
similar.
one
similar.
confused with Evil Dead.
So the cool part about this is you start out in the basement, Leatherface versus the 4 humans. Your goal is to
Yes.
escape the basement, get to the next level where the 2 Leatherface siblings are waiting for you, setting up traps, preparing to help Leatherface.
He's got
catch
brothers
you.
and sisters?
Oh,
Yeah.
he's got a whole
Oh,
family
Leather
out
system,
there.
leather bro.
This
Is this
one,
the blood one?
Yes, this is the one you have to fill up the blood.
Yes.
The
Okay,
blood
this
one.
is the one
This
I
was a
liked.
blast.
This
This
was
was
a
super
blast.
fun.
See, this
Yeah.
one and Evil Dead are the ones that I think we had the most fun with.
Yeah. I
Just
remember
as
Evil
far as the
Dead then
horror
at
is going to
all.
go. I remember this because you could hide in like the cornfields, right? Like you could hide in the tall
Correct.
grass outside.
You would hide in the tall grass, wait.
This
you,
is the one.
You'd see Becky, the evil neighbor running around in circles. It was
Yeah.
you could jump through windows, Andy, in a panic. This shit was
This was a
lit.
fun one.
And this had like a lot of tunnels and stuff. Yes.
Yes. You would jump into the well holes to go back down into the basement
Yes,
in a
that's
panic.
what it was.
And man,
I
oh
had
man,
a lot of fun with this one.
so much fun. This game absolutely
What?
rocked.
Which
The
one's Evil
4v3
Dead?
felt really good. Great time all around. Giving this a big thumbs up for number 2.
Yeah.
Nick Scarpino, give me
Oh,
your number
brutal.
1 perspective.
Of course, ladies and gentlemen, the big daddy of them all in drawing. Perspective.
Wow.
I thought it would have been
Whoa.
first person, but okay.
No,
That's huge.
no, yeah.
Just
First person.
perspective
First person
in
perspective.
general.
The perspective drawing. Yeah. It's an actual accurate perspective drawing based on where the viewer's eye is to the actual thing you're drawing. Perspective.
Art, Joe. Number 1 for me.
Okay. Yeah, number 1.
Hades/Hades 2.
Oh man,
Oh,
great game.
great.
Great game. Damn, Andy, you got a great top 5. Number 1 for me is the GOAT. Dead by Daylight. It has to be. There's no better game that does create the suspense better than Dead by Daylight. When you're sitting at that generator waiting for the little timing skill check, and all of a sudden you can hear the footsteps coming closer, and it starts to build, and you know your heart rate starts. You know when it's happening is the heartbeat. The heart starts to go faster. You can hear it. You know the killer's close. Man, oh man, what a freaking good video game.
It's wild that like you put Dead. I've already moved Dead by Daylight into the constants.
yes.
Oh,
We
yeah.
think of the constants in video games, and everybody's trying to break in and become a constant, right?
Constant.
Everybody wants to be a
You want to
Warzone
be a
Fortnite.
staple.
or an
You
Apex
want to be ubiquitous with
or
the genre.
Overwatch or Fortnite. And I know player counts on those games can kind of waver, but they are still like the people. Those are still the games that people are trying to be. Dead by Daylight is like a constant in its little genre,
Yeah,
right? Like everybody
100%.
wants to take away the player base from Dead by Daylight, and it's still wild to me that it's still as successful as it is. Like I can't believe that. It's awesome, you know.
You think
Yeah.
you think we had more fun in Dead by Daylight than we did in Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
No, we had more fun with Dead by Daylight. You didn't like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You didn't like Dead by Daylight because we didn't have enough time to learn it, and it's too basic. It's just the generators.
Right.
You liked having a multitude of different things to do, which is
Yeah,
what
I think any
Well,
given Sunday on that one.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I go
And
back
the
and
fun
forth.
part in this one is the killers have different abilities,
Yeah,
right?
so
but then
the best
if there's
part
only
about this is
one-
the killers, of course. It's like they have done a great job teaming up with different IPs to bring them in their own killers. Like this
They got
game,
Nick
if you-
Cage in this
they
game.
get everyone.
That's
Nick Cage,
right.
Chucky's
he came
in
out
this,
in that
yeah.
dope suit to
You-
talk about it.
You jump into this, they got everybody. And I mean, nothing scarier than getting grabbed by the killer, trying to wiggle off of his shoulder, being put onto the hook, and then screaming for your friends to come get you. And like, you're going to try to get yourself off the hook, but it never works.
It never
You know what I mean?
works.
It always just gets worse if you do that.
Yeah. So good.
So
Fun one.
that's Snowbike Mike's top 5 asymmetrical games. That's Andy Cortez's.
Top 5 isometrical games.
And that's Nick Scarpino's top 5.
Top 5 drawing perspective.
Oh, it was a drawing perspective.
Yeah. That's how he started out. You thought he was going to go third person perspective.
Yeah, I thought it was perspectives. That's crazy. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to another Kind of Funny
It's kind
Games
of top
cast.
down.
I mean, it kind of is.
This has been the Kind of Funny Games cast. Each and every weekday, we get together to talk about the biggest reviews, previews, and topics in the video games world live here on YouTube, Twitch, and of course on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, please support us with the Kind of Funny membership available on Patreon and on YouTube. where you can get all of our shows ad-free. Watch us as we record them live. And, of course, you'll get your daily dose of Greg Miller with the exclusive Greg Way Show. Up next, you don't have to go anywhere if you're watching live on Twitch and on YouTube, because me and the streaming crew are going to play Myth Force once again. Our goal is to beat Myth Force, so you can go check us out live on Twitch and on YouTube. And, of course, you can catch Kinda Funny Games daily on YouTube or on podcast services around the globe. And know that until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.